Blessed are the peacemakers. Where are the peacemakers? When I think about the things that I see in the headlines, I look at the New York Post and I saw brawls breaking out at Disneyland, the castle in the background, and people are swinging strollers and fighting at Disney. This is supposed to be the happiest place on earth. But that got me into the castles. I learned and saw the most amazing pictures of castles in New York City. Yes, I'll show you a few. We was builders. We was builders. No, the narrative is really busted about these castles being built in the 1800s. You already know the narrative. It's goofy as all get out. It's, they talk about, oh, this guy, he was a colonel in the Civil War. A lot of them inherited these castles. The robber barons and all this stuff. But it was the 1800s. So they rolled up into these castles, the Rockefellers and people like that. And they tore these structures down. The builders. When you think about, these are supposed to be builders. And why would you tear these homes down? A lot of times they couldn't afford to keep them up. It takes a lot of energy to heat and cool and just run a castle. And a lot of us have been looking into old technology, not just architecture, but the antiquitech, especially like the fireplaces and all kinds of interesting things. They had organs, pipe organs in a lot of these castles, but they were all along the river. And you think about the retaining walls that are still there when you go down Riverside Drive and you see retaining walls. You don't realize that these used to be castles. They even built like a driveway right through the stone. And it's amazing, all these castles all through New York City. And these were single family dwellings or whatever. If you have any information about how they were used, I know a lot of the things that we see of the old world, the purposes that we have in the modern world were definitely not what they had in the old world. That aside, these castles all along Riverside Drive, is it, in New York, going even up into Washington Heights. And yeah, the stories of how they built them in the 1800s and they just stood for 40 years maybe, and they demolished them. One narrative said that the man became bored of the mansion or castle. He got bored, okay? So these are the kingdoms. They are founders, not builders, because building structures like that, it's impossible with the technology. We look back at the builder materials, the tools, they're like Amish tools. And they're riding around in these little buggies, and some are horse-drawn. How did they transport this stuff? And when you look at the pictures of the cities, they're basically emptied out. There wasn't a lot of population. So where did they get the workforce? It's a whole lot of questions. I want answers, but I already have an idea. It's definitely not the narrative they've given us.